I've reached out to those gentlemen. I've given them a way to contact me. I gave them my case file number. I gave them the inmate identification number. I gave them the county. I gave them, I believe, the detective, and I believe I also gave them my attorney's name. I may be off on one or two of those things, but if I didn't put one or two of those things in there, once again, I'd be more than glad to do it. But let me go ahead and speak on this publicly, since apparently these people over here can't ask their own questions or put my, I did what? I said exactly what I did. I have nothing to hide. That's what I did, Charlie. It's exactly what I did. Because see, when you're not a liar and you have nothing to hide, you can provide things. You know what I'm saying? The same way when Cletus came to me and said somebody was saying I was a pedophile, I pulled my driver's license out and sent it to him. You know? Every time someone's asked for receipts that I am able to provide, or that I provide them. I don't think all creators can say the same thing. What would you do in my position? Because obviously fighting back and arguing back and trying to take up myself is absolutely not working. Putting out any more information will just be me being a bigger attention seeker. Allegedly, everything I'm doing is for clicks and views, yet I'm not on YouTube. I am on an app where clicks and views don't really fucking matter. Take another vacation. I understand, Mr. Dakota. The genuine question, when you know you're not lying and you're being called a liar by everyone, and when they can't get you on being a liar, then they want to say you lied about your criminal record. Put a 1 in this chat if you ever heard me say that I have been to prison as an adult. Please, I'm dead ass asking you. Put a 2 in if you haven't. Put a 1 if you have. I mean, this is even for the people that don't like me in here. I know there's a couple of you. Have any of y'all ever heard me say that I went to prison as an adult? You heard me to tell you I had a super shitty fucking case, and I got convicted of that case. The case is public. These creators over here have had it for over 2 years. Why are they going to the prison community and telling them to expose my criminal record? They've had it for 2.5 years. I don't understand why I have to go around talking about the stupid shit I did to land myself in the shit that I landed myself into, other than using it as a story, as a testimony. Charmy said I've had it the entire time. You think all of these people have been digging on me, my wife, my family, and they don't have my criminal record? Y'all act like people don't get plea deals on first offenses in a state that they basically had no case against because the evidence that they took pictures of in my car never made it to the evidence room, where they weighed methamphetamine and said it was cocaine, and then was proven that the test. Like I said, I have a case file. You can request it. Have I talked about there's a difference between inmates and convicts? Absolutely. My birth father was a child molesting motherfucker. He wouldn't even be considered a convict in the time that convicts were what convicts were. He spent half his time in Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. When they closed that down, he went to Riverbend. Funny enough, right next to Woodland Hills, where I was as a juvenile, 14 to 18, with a small little bit of time in Taft because of the trouble I was getting in at Woodland Hills. That's 4 years of a juvenile penitentiary. That's what I've always spoke about. Those happen to be drug charges too. Driving a stolen vehicle, fleeing and eluding a law enforcement officer, possession with intent to distribute, on top of aggravated assault on a police officer. Yeah, it sent my ass right to Woodland fucking Hills. Did I go through processing through a center first? Yes. It was a boys' home that no longer exists, and I can't remember the name of it to save my life, since I need to go into my childhood mistakes. Y'all got me out here having to explain my childhood rape. You got me out here having to explain my father's suicide. Y'all got me out here having to explain what a 14-year-old lost motherfucking kid was on the streets, and how I fucked up, ran away from home, was doing a favor for an OG, knowing damn well I shouldn't have been driving a car at 13 motherfucking years old. Didn't have any clue what was in the trunk, but I wasn't a dumbass either. And when you run away from home, you still got to fucking eat. Well, we ain't going to get into all that because that's nobody's fucking business. But the fact that y'all went over to prison to try to expose me because I'm trying to expose a fucking pedo fucking lover and her simps is wild to me. I thought juvenile files are sealed. They are. My adult case was in my 30s. What else did truth have? I don't know. Assault, fighting, a bunch of fighting misdemeanors thrown out of court. Fucking, I mean, simple possession of marijuana. They don't act like just because someone ain't got a fucking record this long that they weren't into doing stupid fucking shit and making their living off doing stupid fucking shit while maintaining a real day-to-day job. I don't think some of y'all understand the term of a hustler, baby. Y'all think I'm supposed to walk around and talk like a fucking inmate all the time? No disrespect to folks that do. I don't live my life like that. By the grace of God, I've been given a 27th chance in my life. And I'm supposed to just go out here and just tell everybody every detail, everything I ever did. I can't just generally talk on nothing without everybody having to dig into it to see if there's a lie there somewhere. I took a plea deal. It is what it is. I got a 5-year suspended sentence, 3 years on paper. It was supposed to be highly supervised. I was not living in the state where I caught the charges. I was living in North Carolina. North Carolina refused to take the probation. They refused to take the case. So I went back in front of the judge with my attorney and asked the judge basically what other options could we go with, because I could not afford to, when I got called for a piss test, to make it from North Carolina to Southern Kentucky within whatever the 5-hour period is or 4-hour period is you have to report. And I don't know if you know this or not, but at least at the time that I had my charges, I couldn't do it in another state at a testing facility. I had to go to probation and parole of where I had my charges, which would have been literally impossible. And if you go read the transcript of my case, and it's available, one of the reasons that I got what I got was I hate that y'all don't want to hear this, but my autism played a major part. The fact that I was an active addict while having a fucking pedigree and a resume that spoke for itself. The fact that I had numerous people in my community that held a standard that people respected, that wrote letters to the judge. The fact that I had been clean since the day I got arrested and gave the court all the drug tests I took independently from the time I was put out on bond, which was not part of my bond agreement, all the way until I finally got in front of the court. I did those. I paid for those. It's called a paper trail. It's called putting a defense together. Some people may not understand that. They wanted me to turn on who they wanted. I'll give you the exact words I told the motherfucker who came into my cell. You'd be better off going and shooting yourself in front of your mama than to ask me to talk about shit. As soon as they sat me down in that room and said, "Oh, Mr. Doodle, we need to talk to you," I need my attorney. Y'all think I was born yesterday? And unfortunately, in the middle of my case, the person they wanted, so to speak, was murdered. Someone who I care about deeply, someone I talk about all the time. And hell, he wasn't even doing nothing. It was just the fact of his association with it. I'm not going to say nothing more than that. I'm constantly having to explain myself while no other creator has to explain themselves. I'm not proud of my actions when I was 13 years old. And yes, I said 14 to 18, because by the time I was convicted in Davidson County Juvenile Court, I was 14 then. You don't do it like that. Originally, the charges were much, much, much fucking worse. See, some of y'all seem to forget I was in state custody from the time they finally found me in hiding at 3 years old or so until 6 or 7 when I was adopted. Then at 14, I was locked back up again until I was 18. People don't even know what the fuck Woodland Hills, 98% of y'all have no fucking idea what Woodland Hills is. None of y'all know what the true meaning of the Thunderdome is. None of y'all know anything about a place called Taft or the numerous wilderness programs that are worse than Taft, worse than Woodland Hills, but leveled much lower. For those who don't understand how leveling in the system goes, you're classified. Because of the charges that I had, I was classified high risk. This would have been in 1998. So before anybody comes at me about, "Oh, you're wrong about it's a dorm, it's a unit, it's a this," make sure you know your fucking history. Because in 1999, they switched how the whole unit and compound was. They re-switched classifications, and they changed everything to a 12-bed unit. Before that, there was a 6-bed unit, an 8-bed unit. You were placed by classification and age. In 1999, that changed. But none of this has absolutely anything to do with any case or anything else, but because people want to, challenge everything. People can come out here and scream about the military, and I asked for a DD-214, and you're just like asking for someone's fucking confidential records on, who their parents are or something. I don't fucking know. Y'all think you have the right to go search my father's death certificate, go to his high school memorial page where he was a teacher for 20 years and take what I posted there that somehow I was lying. And now I need to prove, and I will, that y'all are trying to push a whole nother community on me. And it was interesting. This is no sweat at the dudes because they don't know what's going on. They're new to all this shit. But I saw a clip and I thought it was pretty interesting. The individual said, he showed a different type of person when he was up here. He was super respectful, blah, blah, blah. You want to know why? Because y'all were giving me the same energy. Why the fuck would I be disrespectful or be out of pocket with someone who wasn't being disrespectful to me or being out of pocket with me? There would be no reason in it. You got people out here demanding my father's death certificate or for me to tell them who went. No, you're wrong. You guard your DD-214. Oh, and I shouldn't be able to guard my juvenile record. I shouldn't have that right to guard my father's death certificate. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? You guard your DD-214, but I can't guard my family's fucking traumas when it comes to my father and losing my mother? You want me to prove to y'all what YouTuber or supporter requested my father's death certificate to prove that he didn't commit suicide? Are you hearing yourself? You got people running around. The first time y'all have ever seen my wife literally try to come in front of this camera was last night. True or false? True or false? Have y'all ever seen my wife have to be stopped from coming in front of this camera? My wife deals with all bullshit y'all say about me, right? Hey, Stacks, I've already sent it to them. Thank you very much. Matter of fact, you want to know when I sent it to them? Here, let me tell you real quick. Since everybody thinks they have the right to know about anybody when my content has nothing to do with prison. You want to know why? Well, I'm sure you'll know soon because, like I said, I don't hide from shit. I address it with the people directly. The same way that Queen Bee went on for 2 days about how everybody was pissed off and how I was disrespectful to P&O for live streaming, yet I have permission on my phone to live stream when I'm on their panel, even though I didn't do it the last time because it raised so much hell. Now, granted, I didn't ask the first time. I did tell them when I got up there that I was live streaming, but the second time I sent a message, and I said, hey, I want to make sure this isn't disrespectful, and I got a direct message back from who I needed to. But for some reason, it was a big deal. But yeah, let me tell you, when did I send it to him? When did I send him my whole case and explanation? Oh, let's see here. It was Wednesday. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, let's see. 12:34 a.m. Yeah. Exactly 12 minutes after I got a message in return. So I don't have to give y'all any more information. I sent that shit on Wednesday. You want to know why? Because I'm not a fucking liar and I have nothing to hide. So you never served time, but you're a convicted felon. Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. Other than the time that I was in before I made bond. Yeah. I literally just explained what my plea deal was. But feel free to go back and, watch. Here's the crazy thing. In my stories of my jobs and the things I've done in my career and the different careers that I've done, can anybody explain to me a 5-year gap where I said I was in prison? Anybody? Is there even a 5-year gap anywhere that I haven't spoken about as an adult? No. The answer is no. Have you ever heard me tell you prison stories other than what I experienced at Woodland Hills? No. No, you haven't. Just because you get felonies doesn't mean you go to prison. Now, if I had a rap sheet from years and years and years, maybe. You realize I held a very professional position. You realize that I trained in firearms and trained others in firearms before I didn't become a felon until I was like 34, 35 years old. You said 14 before. What do you mean you said 14 before? Guys, I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm catching little comments. I don't know exactly where they go. I don't know why that's hard for some people to understand. You said you were 14 before on another stream. 14 to 18. Am I just misunderstanding the question? Like I'm not. Like, I'm sitting here having to like fucking talk about, maybe talking about when you were a kid. Yeah, till I was 18. Do y'all know what Woodland Hills is? Does anybody in here actually know what Woodland Hills or Taft is? And I don't even remember the ones that was the wilderness program where you had to hike a fucking mile up to your sleeping quarters every night or stand in parade rest in the diamond, the baseball diamond. I don't even remember what the fuck that place's name was. I was there for a short period of time until they had slammed me enough times that they had to transfer me because, my God, I wouldn't do a fucking thing they said. Why did I get sent to Taft? Because of assaults inside the facility. Because I wouldn't stop fighting. Because after my parents stood up in court, after me being there 2 years and said, we don't want them, we can't take them back, we can't deal with them, and they couldn't reclassify me at that point, what the fuck did I have to lose? Is that when you did Greece? Greece would have been right before all of this happened, which would have been like how do you even know about that, Christy? That was a fucking middle school play. Mate, man. I must be missing some of this. I'm a frill. I mean, details are stacks and stacks I've never seen you before, so I don't have a problem answering your questions, but your question seems loaded, right? I think I'm showing respect. I mean, there's no stutter in what I'm saying. There's no thinking in what I'm saying. There's no none of that. However, you are asking me to think back 30 some odd fucking years ago, almost 30 some odd years ago. You're wanting me to give you like all these details of a time before I became a full-fledged drug addict. Like, I'm doing the best I can with recollection. But even that, the fact that I didn't get asked to be brought into the YouTube prison sector, they came into my chat and asked me to come onto the panel. But if y'all wanted to ask questions, I have no problem answering. You don't see me running. I sent I literally said, and I'm not even going to read all this text message because, you asked why would someone remember Greece? I answered why details stick. No, I get that. And when it's coming from Christy, I get it even more now because I've spoken about being in it. But I believe that I was 13 when I did Greece. I wasn't locked up the whole time. As far as like, I'm not even gonna get into all these specifics, but yes, Greece was at Bellevue Middle School, and it was actually probably my 7th grade year, not my 8th grade year, and that would have made me 12 going on 13. So yeah, that tracks. I get what you're saying, guys. I don't have to explain to anybody. My point was, no, was you the lead? I played Kaneki. I don't know, Ken. I don't know, Ken. I don't know. But isn't it funny? I'm always answering the questions, and I don't ever have to sit and go, But like I said, I thought it was very, very, very interesting and also true. I can't remember which one of the gentlemen said it, but they said, well, he came up here with a different type of energy and was treating us with a different type of energy. And the answer is, of course I was. Y'all weren't being disrespectful to me. You were showing love as a human. You were taking what I was saying for just what it was and not trying to fucking twist and turn it for something else. Of course I was treating you with respect. Of course I was treating you with the same dignity you were treating me with. Of course I was giving the same energy that you guys on the panel were giving me. That's how my life works. The people that tend to think I deserve that they deserve respect are the ones that are, with all intents and purposes, disrespectful as fuck with no apologies. I do not apologize for who I am, but there is certainly a group of people that seem to, want to twist and turn things. The other thing is, I cannot explain this enough. Kick is not fucking YouTube. YouTube people keep expecting YouTube content on Kick. Kick is a live stream platform. It is not a YouTube platform. If I want to sit up here and show multiple layers of how I'm dealing with something, that's called IRL, in real life. Y'all don't see me out here ducking and dodging. Y'all don't see me out here saying, I didn't say that when I did. Now, let me get back to Petty for a second because it was important that I was getting onto that. And also, none of this is any disrespect to them dudes over on YouTube streets. I reached out to them both times I felt like there was an issue or something that was said wrong. They responded with nothing but respect to me. And I will do the same to them. You can't force disrespect between people just because you don't like somebody. That's wild. Now, with the petty situation, because this is more important to me than anybody worrying about what I did when I was fucking in my 30s and a dumbass addict on methamphetamine, heroin, and cocaine, throw a little Adderall on there, and then throw steroids on top of it. I was living a pretty fucking stupid life.